And my first question is, describe your father. When you think back and look back at your father and you remember how life was growing up with your father, can you describe your father?
How far back you would like me to go? Into his childhood?
No, just describe him
Describe
describe him as a person.
Because the reason why I asked, because he had a rough childhood.
Okay.
And he went through a lot of things growing up. But when he came to be a man, a father, he made the choice of not carrying on the abuse he had to endure at his childhood. So what I'm saying is that we all have a choice to make this world better. And he decided that he would never treat his children and his wife like he was treated.
Probably what I've gotten from him the most, because people talk about their love languages, like love language of like, I show love by positive words or quality time. I think I have the same love language he had, so it was mine's quality time, but for him, he shows you that he loves you by doing things for you. So he's not a big talker at all, but he has your back and will bend over backwards, give you the shoes off his feet, the shirt off his back. And I've learned a lot about how to love people by doing things for them, by taking care of them.
How has that shaped you in fatherhood?
That has shaped me a lot. I'm one of those people who I pay attention to my surroundings. And as a young boy, young man, I did a lot of watching. And I watched his actions. I watched the way he talked to people, to family, to my mother. And that's how I grew as a man. And I think that's important for all men, but especially for me, I kind of watch, kind of decide, okay, that didn't work, that does work, that doesn't work. And he's played an important part in who I am today.
So when I was born, he was non-existent as far as I remember. I didn't meet my father, still haven't met him face to face. I didn't speak with my father until I was 27 years old. And so first conversation I had with him was on the phone. I was playing ball in Grand Rapids, Michigan. He was working in Canada. He actually saw me in the newspaper, called the newspaper, got my number, called me, we talked. It was super awkward, man. And so we developed somewhat of a phone relationship off and on. The very next year, I was gonna propose to my wife. And so I always said, all the mistakes I made in my teens and my 20s, I probably wouldn't have made if I had a father, guiding me along. So I called him. I wanted to get this marital advice. I was still on the fence. I thought I had gotten a word from God, like, this is the woman you're supposed to marry. It's time to get married. And I called him and I asked him, I'm thinking about getting married, proposing. What do you think? What's your advice about marriage? So this is my moment. This is what I've been looking for my whole life, to get this dad advice. And he said, is she an American girl? I said, yeah. And he was like, well, I have 2 baby mamas and a girlfriend, and I'm good. And it was the biggest disappointment ever, man. I was like, dude, this is what I've been waiting on for so long, and this is what I got. And so I called my mom and I told her, I was like, man, this is crazy. This is what I've been waiting on. This is what I get. My bad.
Oh, man.
And she says, with God, sometimes the things that he don't give you are the biggest blessings. You look around and you see what everybody else has, and you wonder why you don't have it, or would you be better if you did have it? And that kind of solidified it for me.
I truly wish you had known your grandfather, my father. You're so much like him. My father was a teacher. He became an assistant principal. Children loved him. They didn't like his discipline because he's very much a disciplinarian. He would spank children that get out of line, including me. But he loved people, and people loved him. So he was a pastor, he's a husband, he was a father, he was a teacher, he was an assistant principal, He was a community activist. All of those things, except for being a teacher, that I became were from the influence of my father.